Okay, I'm going to try an IKEA hack out, which is where you take an IKEA Besta. So that's the one I got. Then I've got a door, a soft closing hinge, and 2 shelves. And I'm going to try and make a network cabinet out of it. So for networking, we come in through there. So I've got a longer cable coming. I'm going to tack that on the skirting board to here. Then here I've put a 4 wall box in. Only 2 of them are being used at the moment. So they go to a room upstairs and a room around the house. And I've got a modem, router, my Synology server, 2 Raspberry Pis, and a switch. And I'm going to stick them in here, put it in a corner, and it's just going to look like normal furniture in the living room, not anything network related, trying to hide as much of it as possible. So first order of business is build that. Okay, that's the easiest IKEA build ever. 15 minutes to build it. I've still got to put the door on, but I've done a test fit. So you've got the home server down at the bottom. Then you've got a small rack shelf that will have the 2 Raspberry Pis. So one does pie hole for us and the other one tracks aeroplanes for flight radar. And there'll be a little 8-port switch here. And then at the back, there'll be an extension lead with a multi-plug. And then on the top shelf, you'll have the router and the modem will be here next to it. So the next thing is making holes. So I'm gonna make a central hole here, and then the same here, I'll make a central hole. And then for this one as well, a central hole. So at the back of the unit, you should have 3 holes coming out for the top shelf, the middle shelf, and the bottom shelf. The bottom shelf will just have the server, and I'll run 2 network cables to it, so I will have 3 cables. They will just come in here, so I'll make small leads so there's no cable overhang and stuff. And then here will be 2 Raspberry Pis and the 8-port switch. And from the 8-port switch, 2 cables will go out to the other rooms, and then that long cable there runs to the other side of the living room for the TV. And then at the top will just be the other 2. And then I'll go and get I'll either put the extension lead like this here, mounting it, or I'll put it inside, but I wanted to make it look as neat as possible. So I've just got to decide on that. So the next step is to draw some holes and put the door on. Holes are cut and they are that size. That's the door on. So that's the unit like that. So it's a white oak sort of effect on it. Now it's got soft closing hinges and it does have a latch, but when you put these little plastic things in, you can't use the latch anymore. But if I let it close with those things on, you see how it creates a little air gap. So that's sort of the server, and all the other equipment in here can draw air from the outside in. So you see there's a nice little gap there for to draw air. Now I do have fans that I can put in. It's got a little temperature gauge on it, and when it triggers a certain temperature, the fans will turn on. But it's packed in a box somewhere while we're busy unpacking the house. So I'm gonna mount it like this and use it, and if it overheats, then I'll put the fans in. But hopefully with these little gaps on here, it will be sufficient. Right, let me put the stuff in and see how it looks. And there it is, all done. You won't even know what's in there. Now I'm waiting for the longer cable to arrive, then I'll tack that in. It's getting tucked in the corner on the right. So it's not a finished article, but it's enough to sort of show how this little hack works. So if you open it up, as you can see, I mean, I need to cable manage it, I need to plug everything in, but you get the idea, use your imagination. So router top right, modem top left. Middle shelf is gonna be, like I said, a switch, the Pis, cable manage it. I'm gonna make some small patch leads so that there's no overhang and stuff. And then server at the bottom, and then that's just another mesh satellite that needs to go into another room, which I'll do when we're ready. So yeah, that is it. Nice, easy hack. Make your living room look neat and tidy. You know, you don't know what's in there. And then that's it. Happy to do another video on it once it's cable managed and show how neat and tidy it will look at the end. But I think, you know, most people will get the idea with how this works.